this starter is pretty runny. It's been left on the counter a few too many days. I think I fed this like Friday or Saturday, and it is currently Wednesday. So this has been on the counter a lot of days. Smells pretty strong, but it's not bad, and it doesn't have any hooch. So I'm gonna feed this up, and tomorrow I'm gonna make a batch of honey oat bread, which is one of my favorites. Tomorrow, Marius, with the help of some friends and family, are picking up a free piano for us because Marius would like the kids to do some music lessons. He's a very musical person, and I grew up doing lots of music lessons, but don't ask me to play a musical instrument. Anyways, I want to make some bread to give people who help. So I've mixed in starter with the water, and I'm going to add some flour. As usual, my goal consistency-wise is like a, oh, that's an awkward angle, like a muffin batter. So I've got my 2 quart here. It is 8:30 at night, and I've got about 3 fat cups worth of starter. So we will see this in the morning. So it's about 8:39 in the morning, and I'm working on honey oat bread. I've got starter, water. I used vegetable oil because I didn't feel like melting butter. Honey and salt in here. I'm going to mix this together, and then I'm going to add the flour and the oats. So I have added all of the flour and oats here, and if I were to try and knead this right now, it's a little on the sticky side. I may need to add a bit more flour, but what I'm going to do first is I'm going to let this sit for half an hour, and this is essential when you're using whole grains and oats that take longer to soak up the moisture. So I'm going to cover this, let this sit half an hour, and then assess if I need to add a bit more flour or not. So it's been sitting for 45 minutes now, and doesn't stick to my fingers. So before, I just mixed it until the flour was incorporated. There's a bit along the edges is what is there now. So I'm gonna let it knead now for a few minutes. Uh-oh, baby's waking up already. And then I'm gonna dump it out into a bigger bowl for it to rise. Even though my Bosch did the work for me, I still pretty much always throw a bit of flour down on the counter and give it a few kneads just to get a feel for how it is, make sure it's how I want it, and it's a nice supple but not sticky, not stiff dough, and I'm going to set it to rise now. For the most part, I use these tubs to rise dough in because they fit in there nicely. It's easy to see when your dough is doubled because you can just easily see. This fits in the dishwasher. I don't have to use a wet towel or saran wrap or anything. I can just put a lid on it for it to rise. If I want it to rise overnight in the fridge, this fits in the fridge nicely. They're just a convenient thing to use. So now we're gonna leave this be till this afternoon. So my bread dough is nice and happy. One of the ways you check if it has risen enough, besides visually seeing that it is doubled, or just about doubled, is this. If you poke your bread dough and it doesn't bounce back at you, it is given all it has to give. This was like a long time ago that I poked those. If you poke it and it bounces back at you, it still wants to give more. So poke it, and if it doesn't bounce back, then it is given all it needs to, all it can give. Oh, now you're gonna wake up, baby. So, dump this out onto the counter. Okay, I need to adjust this baby. So I weighed the dough already, and I know that I'm gonna make 4 800-gram loaves, which is a medium-sized loaf. I normally would make bigger loaves, but I'm wanting to gift this, so I need to make them a bit smaller in order to have enough to give everybody. Oh no, we got too much there, dang it. Okay, 800 grams. So I measure them all out. I've got them all measured out, and I'm gonna do a pre-shape bench rest. This is important. This helps your loaf have good shape to it. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna spread the dough out till it's roughly the size of both your hands, and then just kind of roll it up and put it off to the side. Repeat with the rest. This is a little sticky. I maybe could use some flour, but it's not actually sticking to the counter, so I'm gonna leave it. So that's all you're doing. And now these are gonna sit for 10 minutes. I used to skip this step, but you will get taller loaves if you do this. I read in a book, your loaves will be taller and prouder, and so will you. So these are gonna sit for 10 minutes. I'm gonna get my pans ready. These can be baked freeform, or they can be baked in loaf pans. I'm gonna do them in loaf pans today. So we're gonna go seam side up again. Same thing, press it out to about the same size as 2 of your hands. This time we're gonna kind of do it in this triangle. And then you're gonna tuck it like this. Hey Freya, can you talk to the baby? I know it seems like I'm neglecting my baby in every one of these, but I swear I start this and she starts freaking out. Freya, please help the baby. Okay, so then we're gonna put it, I got my prepared pan. These loaf pans are a little smaller than your average loaf pan, but I love them because then you get taller loaves. I think I might have made these too long. But I wanted nice, really tall, impressive looking loaves for these.
Now.
So these like fill up the loaf pan.
Mine just put them in.
Freya, these fill up the loaf pan, which means they're gonna make really tall loaves. Now just repeat. So I'm using this big bag for proofing. It kind of creates a really nice proofing effect. Proofing is your second rise. You can also cover with a lightweight damp paper towel or saran wrap or another plastic bag, but these massive plastic bags, I reuse them over and over again, and I think that things proof really well in them. So now they're gonna sit for a couple hours. It is 4:15 right now. They're gonna sit till about 6, and then I'm gonna bake them. But we'll test them and see how they rise. So I had people over and I didn't keep you posted on this, but I put the bread in. Halfway through I flipped it around, and now it is between 190 and 200. I could have taken it out a bit sooner even. So that means it is ready, and I'm gonna take the other stuff out. For some reason my slashes did not work at all and they busted out the side. That's fine. It's just aesthetics. It'll just taste just as good. I'm gonna wrap it in a wool blanket to help soften the crust and go help my upset baby. So right as I was about to wrap them in a wool blanket, which helps soften the crust, the people I was making them for showed up. So I just quickly slathered some butter on the crust, and I'm gonna show you what this looks like on the inside. Hold tight, look at that. Love it so much. I love honey oat bread, some whole wheat. I know Mac's so excited. It's his favorite. We love this bread recipe.